Thank you, everyone, for attending our keynote presentation this afternoon, The Healthy Home of the Future. Before we hear from our panel today, please welcome our sponsor for this keynote, Joel Vaslow, COO of TigerPaw.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. So your keynote is about the healthy home. I'm going to talk a little bit about the healthy business. How many of you are feeling some pain in your business right now? Good, thank you for being honest. I am a doctor, not this kind of doctor. My pain medication is more like this. But we are going to talk a little bit about pain management. Perhaps, as you guys said, you might be experiencing some pain in your business. One of the things as we listen to folks in your industry and the other industries that we serve is that people are losing customers. How many of you have lost a sale or a customer to somebody from another industry? Thank you again for your honesty. This helps, it'll build up your thirst for the drinks later if you raise your hand. What we're seeing a lot is that people in managed IT are getting into your space. As a matter of fact, when you actually think about the origin of TigerPaw, we started our software for telecom companies, people who sold phone systems and handsets. You remember those guys? Very complicated systems they put in your business. Those guys that are still around got into other businesses. Things like AV, security, managed IT. Now we're seeing the managed IT folks spread their wings as well. And we're actually one of the companies that's out there helping folks do that. And if you are not doing something about this today, trust me, you're going to have some folks reaching right into your customers' wallets, taking money out that could be going to you. So keep an eye on other services that you could be adding and look for ways that you can actually build systems that allow you to serve multiple different types of products and services. How many of you are still using spreadsheets to run your business? Okay, come on, I know there's more of you than that. Thank you for being honest. All right. If you are using spreadsheets to run your business, all right, more important question, how many times have you ever made a mistake on your spreadsheet? You know, a lot, right? So you are rolling the dice when you're using a spreadsheet. Why not use an automated system instead that keeps all of your data in one place, that runs the calculations for you, you don't have to actually touch it at all, and actually lets other people throughout your organization see those spreadsheets, so it's not just one spreadsheet on your desktop or on somebody else's desktop. Okay, another show of hands. How many of you have ever lost an invoice for a customer? I hear a little chuckling over here. This is not really that funny. It happens. We've done it as well. This can be really painful. If you are invoicing and you're not using an automated system, it's a lot easier to do than not. And if you use an automated system, you're less likely to be putting money down the toilet. You know, it's just, what's the, somebody who's lost an invoice more than $10,000? Good. Wait, here we got one here. Thank you again for your honesty. So think about that. $10,000 invoice. Even if you find it later, imagine what that conversation is going to be like to go back to that customer. They've already closed their books for whatever, or you know, balanced their checkbook. Now you come back and say, sorry, I forgot to bill you for $10,000. Probably didn't feel very good, did it? No. Painful. Very painful. You blamed it on somebody else, so good, pass the buck. All right, how many of you have different parts of your company running different systems, say maybe Salesforce on one side for the sales folks, an accounting package on the other side? Yeah, okay, I know there's a lot of you. And how many of you wish that your systems talk to each other a little bit better? Yes. Thank you. Your arm's going to get tired over here, but I appreciate your participation. You're going to be really thirsty. The drinks are going to taste good. This happens a lot in organizations that are using disparate systems, and you guys have a lot of complexity in the business that you run. And if you are not running an integrated system that allows everybody to be operating off the same sheet of music, then you could have a situation like this. All right. This is the best. Who knows their tech's high scores on Candy Crush? Who knows whether their techs are playing Candy Crush or not? Who knows what your techs are doing when they say they're actually working for you and going and taking care of your customers? This is a big one. This is a very important one. We had the picture before about flushing money down the toilet. If you don't know what your techs are doing every minute of the day and aren't maximizing the billable time that they are providing to you, they could be doing this. They could be down at the coffee shop, the bar, wherever, and that is kind of like stealing money from you. And you want to talk about pain? Not knowing is painful. When you find out, it's even more painful. If you are not tracking your tech's time in a single system, how do you know this isn't happening? If you don't know where your techs are all the time and how they're accounting for their time, how do you know that this isn't happening? All right, this is actually our storage room in our building, I have to say, so I'm not just picking on you guys. How many of you have ever ordered inventory before that you already had plenty of in your warehouse or your storage? All right, yes. That is an expensive mistake, especially if you don't have any customers ready to do it or can't get it back out. I mean, that's a big cash flow issue. How many of you have ever sent a truck out that didn't have all the parts on it that you needed for a particular job? All right. How many of you ever have had an issue where a customer tried to return something that maybe they didn't buy from you? That's happened? Yeah. If you're not tracking serialized inventory and know where all of your inventory is at every moment of the day, if your storeroom looks like our storeroom, we don't sell inventory, so fortunately we don't have that problem, but if your storeroom looks like this, again, it's a cash flow issue. It is definitely a drain on your business, and you're not running as efficiently as you can. You're experiencing some business pain that we can help with. Serialized inventory, knowing what's on each and every truck before it goes out will make your business run easier, more smoothly, and make your cash flow a lot better. You guys do a lot of projects, right? How many of you are convinced that you know how profitable each and every project is? A couple of you, right? A few of you. The rest of you makes me wonder, what do you know? How profitable are each and every one of those projects? If you don't know, again, we go back to the tech's time, how your techs are utilizing their time. If you don't know what inventory you're actually putting on the job, if you're not tracking that well, that could affect your profitability. If things take longer than what you estimated, that's going to affect your profitability. If you're not tracking that all in one spot, then you're having some pain in your business. So that's enough of the pain. We're going to be here the next few days. I've got my colleagues Tony and James with me. We're on the exhibit hall. We have some breakout sessions. We'd love to talk to you about managing all those kinds of pain. We have a business automation solution that we've used in your space before. We have a number of folks who we're currently serving in your industry, but more importantly, as I said before, we're serving folks across a lot of different industries. Our solution is industry agnostic, which means it's going to, as you expand your business and look at other opportunities, it's going to be a great tool for you. But most importantly, it's going to help you manage this pain. It's going to help you track that inventory, help your teams communicate well with each other, help you expand when you choose to do that into other areas, and keep track of that tech time so that they're not racking up those high scores on Candy Crush. So come visit us tomorrow or the next day and have a conversation with us. Let us know. Let us help you manage that pain and enjoy your time here at Tech Home West.
Thank you, Joel, and thank you, Tiger Paw, for sponsoring our keynote today. Our keynote is going to be very exciting today, too. I think you guys are all really going to like this. We have a great topic. We have a great panel here. So over the next hour or so, we're really going to get into the healthy home of the future. Well, we're going to start out with, we're going to have these panelists introduce themselves, and you'll get a sense for the great group that we really do have here who will be speaking to us over the next hour. We're going to focus on today the KB Home project. This is a really great home that was just built outside of Las Vegas. Over the last few months, the KB Home has really started showing this off with some great new features of technology and some great ways that you're going to see technology being used to create this healthy home of the future. We're going to have a panel discussion about all sorts of the tech that goes into the home, what it means for you as home builders and integrators, and what it's going to mean just for home builders and homeowners over the course of the next several years and decades even. There will be some video tours throughout this to really showcase some of these unique features in this home to give you a better sense of what is involved. And we also will have an opportunity for you at the end of this to ask this great panel some questions that you might have, whether it's about the home or whether it may be how could impact your business and your company over the course of the coming years. So we'll introduce our speakers here. I'm Tony Consiglio with event producer AE Ventures, and sitting next to me here, Jacob Atalla. Introduce yourself.
Hi. So I've been with KB for over 14 years and focused on innovation and sustainability. Really have worked on 3 concept homes while I'm with KB Home. This is the 3rd one, and happy to be sharing it with you.
My name is Tony Antolino. I'm the Chief Commercial Officer at Delos. And I have 3 primary functions. I commercialize all of our products and services globally. I also own the Chief Marketing Officer title, so how do we position ourselves in the market and help support all of you to shepherd our value proposition to your customers. And then I also run the residential business globally.
Hi, my name is Nett, Phasukavanich. I am in new business development for the Google hardware team. I've been with Google for close to 9 years, and I focus on working with builders, on putting our smart home products into people's homes and making people's life better. So glad to be here.
Hi guys, Jason Matthew. I lead the IoT organization at Whirlpool. Our group is basically organized to kind of unlock all the power of technology, whether it's connected, whether it's digital, whether it's ecosystems, to kind of power our brand purpose. I've got responsibilities across all products, all brands, all markets for Whirlpool globally. Super excited to be here. We've been working with KB Homes for some time about how do we accelerate that vision about where we're headed, and we'll dive into some specifics in a few minutes.
Good evening. My name is Rich Korthauer. I am the Vice President of our final distribution business for Square D Schneider Electric, which really services the residential, light commercial markets. We've been a longtime partner of KB Home, and we're very excited to be here tonight. Going to talk about a new product that we debuted with KB at their project home. So thank you, and look forward to a great evening.
So this is a really great panel that Jacob has done a great job in helping us assemble here for the next hour or so. So where we'd really like to start, I'd love to give Jacob a few minutes to really give you a sense of what this home is and what KB Home was trying to accomplish when they were building this.
Thank you, Tony. So I was here last year for last year's summit, and totally enjoyed it. We talked about and been attending many of the Tech Home summits as well, always talking about what we're doing today. Today it's a little bit different. I'm going to talk about what we're going to be doing in the future, not just KB, but all of us as an industry. And that's why we gave this project, when we did it, when we started planning for it, we gave it the tagline, "Where Tomorrow Lives." We were intentionally trying to go to the edge, explore that edge, and coming back to report on it to our industry, and both industries, the tech industry as well as the home building industry. So happy that we're here together, and both builders and integrators. We also had the great opportunity and knew about it ahead of time that after we build the house, we can show it at Consumer Electronics Show time and then at IBS time. And we wanted to address both audiences, if you will. Where Tomorrow Lives, that's exploring the future And some of you will say, well, that's very risky. And that's also something we were concerned about. That's very, very risky. What do you know about the future? How can you claim this is the future? Well, we don't, but we're trying to take the best guess at it. The important thing is not to guess by yourselves. Collaboration is very important. And there are studies that show that when you for any particular idea, 2 companies or more collaborate on them, it becomes much more valid and have a higher likelihood to succeed. So in this case, we gathered about 70 sponsors and trade partners together. And particularly the sponsors, we met several times throughout the process to just do ideations and kind of figure out where we're heading together. But it's still risky. And I will tell you what was the most significant risk is this. Vegas, on the day we're opening the house, and we have about 400 guests coming. It snowed in about 1.5 inches, and we had to deal with that. But, that's an easy risk. The party went well, and we were OK with it. 2 days later, it snowed again. But the important thing for us to know is that the biggest risk is not to engage, is to accept the status quo. We can never accept the status quo, and that's why it's important that we jump into these things. And when you do, you say, OK, well, what can I base things on? I think there's a lot of signals in the timing where we're at right now. When you think about it, we're 20% into the 21st century. Almost 20% into the 21st century. There's a lot about it that we already know, and it's leading us to think, to know what we can. It's going on its own. It's OK. It's kind of rotating between the different trends that we looked at. I hope it will stop. Let me see if I can stop it somehow. Anyways, thank you. You stopped it in the back, thanks. So trends from economy and from social can help us understand what the housing of the future would look like. We looked at them, we kind of assembled this group. I just want to start or unpack just a few of them. Many of them you already know, and understand them, how they are impacting our lives. So the changing household structure, that's very important for builders and maybe to the trades as well. Because in 1970, 40% of households used to be the nucleus family. Nucleus family is a married couple with children. 40% of all households were that nucleus family. Today, it's only 20%. And the other segments have grown and taken the space of that additional 20% that the nucleus family lost. So how do we, just think about it from an architecture point of view, not technology and other things. How should we build homes that are responding to today's household structures? That's very important. You think about it in our own lives. Our lives are moving very quickly. The 21st century is moving very quickly. If our lives are progressing in a fast pace and also changing because of maybe it's the sharing economy or other things, why shouldn't our homes change too? So based on that, we explored all these things. I'll just go into one more, the wellness economy and the sleep revolution. How many mattress TV ads do you see every night? My goodness. And it's a many trillion dollars economy, the wellness economy. So it was important for us when we saw that and saw the trend of the consumer spending related to wellness that we talked with our partners How do we lean forward in this house related to wellness? And today you'll hear a little bit more about it. Everything digital. Everything is digital. You think about, let's say, Kohler. Their faucets, we started with waving above and under faucets. Now you can talk to the faucet. So everything is going digital, and we as a builder have to understand how to put together the right platform for that. So it started with, we had to decide on what is our top level layer of digital smarts, and we selected Google. We have a partnership with Google that started before Project and continued with Project, but Google is the Wi-Fi layer, is also the artificial intelligence layer, and under it are many items from the wellness intelligence system from Darwin to the appliances from Whirlpool that also contribute to a healthier home, and the Kohlers and Quicksets, et cetera, the people that were part of this with us. The sharing economy, it will impact the design of our floor plans. I can tell you that, so important there. But I want to come back to everything digital for a second. I thought I'd do a little bit of that raising hand exercise. How many, whether you're a builder or an integrator partner, how many of you say a typical home that we're installing or building today has between 5 to 15 connections in it, digital devices, whether it's smartphone or smart lock, whatever, between 5 and 15. How many? Okay, a lot. Okay, 15 to 25. Okay, we have a few. 25 and let's say 50. There you go. Wow, good number. Okay, 50 to 100. Couple. Okay, good. Okay, this house that we built had 250 connections in it, okay? We had to split them into two networks, a systems network and an entertainment network, and we had to have a network engineer work on the house to make it work. Can this be sustainable into the future when it's not just a concept home, but a production home? No, it's not. I don't think so. I don't think it is for us. We don't want to pay the tab of an integrator to do 250 items. So there is work to be done. We explore homes like this so that we can learn from them and understand what work still lies ahead before we get into the future. Okay, and that's one pieces of the work that we have to do going forward. Innovate in terms of either reducing that number, and I have a thought, and just share it with you. Every light fixture in that house was its own IoT or its own IP address. Why do we need in a room to have 15 IP addresses if we can have it all in one centralized driver, LED driver, or in one one light switch in that room? So we got to work on these, and you might prove me wrong, but again, that's what collaboration is about. Let's collaborate and find out what's right. Anyways, when we boiled all the economic and social trends together and heard the partners and sponsors, we boiled down the house to 4 pillars: sustainable home, healthy home, smart, and flexible home. Today we'll unpack some of these things together. I look forward to a great panel discussion. This is a little bit of the interiors of the home, and I think we'll turn it back to you for panel.
All right. Well, Jacob, thank you. I think that was a great introduction to give you some insight as to the thought process behind this home, what's gone into it, and now we'd really like to dig deep and show you some of the real cool features that are inside this and how they help accomplish what is this healthy home of the future. So we do have a video to help get us started out. This showcases the Delos Darwin dashboard, which really is a key focal point in how this helps the home become so well and healthy. So we'll show you this Darwin dashboard video.
So here we have the Darwin home dashboard, and what we're looking at here is a floor plan of the project house, and the color coding here is indicating the air quality in the various zones in the house. There's 10 different air quality sensors that are part of the Darwin platform in various rooms around the home. So we see a color-coded floor plan. We can see the air quality score overall here for the home, and then look at the individual scores for CO2, PM2.5, PM10, and those are some of the common indoor air pollutants that are being measured by the Darwin system. We can click into an individual room, for example, the loft, and now we're seeing the individual scores and readings for that area. And there's also an outdoor sensor, which we can hit here and get the outdoor sensor for the air quality as well. The Darwin dashboard also allows the homeowner to hit certain scenes. So if you want to do a welcome scene, you come back home. We can also do that with Google, but we can do different circadian lighting, energize, relax, different wellness-enabled lighting scenes that the Darwin system is speaking to the other systems in the home to enable. In addition, we can do light control, shades, as well as the dawn simulation. We don't have any scheduled at the moment. Folks haven't moved in quite yet, but you can schedule to have the home naturally wake you up. And so that is the Darwin dashboard for the home.
All right, so Tony, that gives us a little bit of a demo on what this Darwin dashboard is, what it can do. Why is this so important now? What sort of trends are you seeing with homeowners that makes this so important and welcome?
We're seeing at a macro trend level that consumers are expecting their home to be so much more than shelter and a great lifestyle, depending on the geography that's important to them. But from Delos' perspective, we've spent the better part of 7 years researching the coming together of building sciences and health sciences. And in that body of work, we wanted to prove a thesis that we could use indoor spaces, office buildings and homes, the place where we're spending more than 90% of our times indoors, as a vehicle to improve our health and well-being. So we use that 7-year body of work to inform this product that we're talking about, Darwin. And Darwin is the healthy dashboard for your home, as you saw in the video. We're using wellness algorithms that our team has created and sensor technology to monitor and calibrate the indoor environment. So there's air quality sensors that are implemented throughout the house. We're looking at the air quality in real time. Based on our research with Mayo Clinic, Cleveland Clinic, and many other institutions, we've got not only thresholds for what is bad air quality, but more importantly, we want to create an optimal environment in the home to promote healthy outcomes for you and your family. So if we can improve the air quality to healthy levels, then we can improve things like cardiovascular function, cognitive function, and things of that nature.
So this really increases the quality of life value of a home, but beyond it just being a place to live.
Way beyond, and we're looking at and remediating air quality in the home. We're using circadian lighting to help bring our bodies back in touch with the way nature intended it to be. I mean, for thousands of years, if you think about it, we lived outdoors. The sun woke us up and told us when it was time to go to sleep. So how do we translate those important biological aspects into today's living when we're on our devices all the time, in front of TV screens that are giving off the blue light? So here's what it's actually doing for you. When we wake up in the morning, the sun is bright, goes up high in the sky, it hits our optic nerve and tells our bodies, hey, we want to be alert and awake and productive. Serotonin is a hormone that your body produces. When you want to prepare your body for sleep, the sun is going down, that warm tone hits the optic nerve and tells the body, hey, we should start preparing ourselves for bed. Melatonin is supposed to get produced, but when we're on our devices and in front of our televisions, our bodies get all out of sorts. And so by the time it comes time to actually put your head on the pillow and try and go to sleep, quick show of hands, how many people are staring at the ceiling saying, God, I wish I could go to sleep, right? It's a common occurrence. So we're solving that problem by putting circadian lighting, connecting it to Darwin, and making sure that the sun patterns in the house are echoing based on a GPS location exactly what's happening outside. So we can run a circadian show, which will mimic the light. But maybe you have a customer who's a third shift worker.
We actually do have a video of that demo that we can play that shows you what this 24-hour process of circadian lighting actually is.
Hey Google, run circadian show in master bedroom. So we're starting out in the morning, and we're gonna sort of wake up to that sunrise type light, a natural wake up, and then as we come through the morning and get into the mid to late morning through noontime, we're seeing now that bright, high color temperature light, sort of looks like the sun at noontime, and that's helping us stay energized during the day. That's suppressing melatonin production and helping us be alert and awake and present. And then as we come into the later afternoon, into the evening, we're seeing the lighting now kind of shift a little bit more towards that sunset hue, more red, more orange, less of that blue content, and that's allowing our bodies to actually start producing melatonin again and get ready for a restful night of sleep.
I don't know if you noticed, but the shades had channels on the ends of them, and they're painted black on the inside of them, the channels, so that we don't see that crack of light at the edge of shades anymore. There is a lot of design here. The drywall was sound-absorbing drywall. So it's the collaboration of active systems as well as just materials, the right materials to create the right environment for sleep. Another thing that when you ask Google to prepare for sleep, one of the things that happen, Tony, you know more the science of it, but it reduces the temperature.
Yeah. So the general intention is to help the homeowner and their families improve their sleep-wake cycles. If you improve your sleep-wake cycles, you're more energized, you're getting better rest, your hormones are in better balance, you're living a much better quality of life. Great outcomes can come from that. When we sleep, we want to be scientifically in a cooler environment, about 4 degrees cooler than your ambient temperature. So in our go to sleep sequence, the air temperature automatically starts to go down about 4 degrees. The lights start to dim on a gradual basis. By the time you hit that time where you actually want to go complete lights out, the shades are down, the lights are off, TV's off, and you're fully going to sleep. You can control this from the dial or through Google. It's integrated also with, at the higher end, a lot of the smart home automation systems like Crestron. So we've got the integrations that we've thought about as well as the standalone systems.
I want to, if it's okay with you, I'd like to mention one piece of research that we did on top of the great research and studies that Delos had done. So as part of the project work, we commissioned, one of our partners commissioned for primary research to be done with homeowners, recent homeowners, or home shoppers at that current time, and 2/3 of them agreed that a healthy home could have a good impact on their health. And a similar number agreed that a healthy home could save them. They estimated that it will save them approximately 40% on their out-of-pocket expenses related to health care and things like that. So that's important for us to validate. Will they pay for it? Do they see value in it? The other thing I wanted to mention is that the Darwin system, as you saw on the map, it has sensors. It was mentioned that there were 10 sensors in the home. They were all IoT sensors built into the wall. And what I want to share with you for a point of inspiration is that they were all in the wall in double gang boxes. I think the idea of a double gang box that has a Cat 6, that has a power to it, and a faceplate that covers it, is great future proofing, because I can tell you that that sensor, indoor air quality sensor, probably in 3-4 years there's going to be one that's way better than it, and at that time the homeowner may want to do kind of like refurbishing, if you will, or update what the systems have. And so you're just building an infrastructure, this box, and it can take other IoT sensors as well. So just a thought for you to consider.
All right. I think that was some great insight into this Darwin system and how that impacts the healthy home. I'd love to move on and show you how Google helps bring this all together. We do have a video that sort of showcases a bit about how you can use Google and its products to sort of help wake up the home when you arrive, and how it brings all these elements together.
So the home is in the away mode right now. The shades are down, the lights are off, the thermostat is at an energy saving setting. But when I get back into the house, all I have to say is something like, "Hey Google, I'm back." You can see that the shades go up, lights come back on, and the temperature is getting reset to the comfortable temperature that I want in the house when I'm in it. And I have my favorite music playing on the Google Max beautiful speaker.
So Nett, in this demo alone, we saw shades, we saw lighting. Jacob mentioned the temperatures getting reset. There are all these features that Google has just found throughout the home. How does it help bring this project together?
So for Google, I think, obviously from our perspective, we want to showcase like the beautiful and the amazing first-party devices that we have. But more importantly, I think the key point here is the Google Assistant ecosystem, like how our products actually work together with third-party products to showcase, to demo this routine that you guys just saw. And so to us, that's how it all came together. And in the house, you'll find a range of our products in there. For example, as you can see here, there's a bunch of smart speakers, smart display, which has Google Assistant built in. So you can do things like control the smart home, or play your favorite music, or ask it questions just like how you use Google on the web. But this is basically by voice or by visual, etc. I think the Google Home Hub, the Max that you just saw in the video, it's in the dining room. The Google Home Hub, which has the visual, it's actually very handy when you're actually cooking, right? Because it's like, how do you cut pineapple or something like that. So that is where the trend is going. So you can see like the visual of like how it's done, play YouTube video and stuff like that. And for Google Wi-Fi, it also brings it all together as well, because obviously we need a good connectivity to have a good smart home. So Google Wi-Fi is like a mesh network routers that they automatically switch to the strongest strength signal just to make sure that there's the whole home coverage. So that's definitely an important layer beside the smart speaker, which is a digital glue to kind of bring everything together. Google Wi-Fi is the foundation for connectivity. And if you go to the next slide, it's also the Nest products that we have as well, like Nest Secure Alarm System or Nest Hello Doorbell, which is in the front door entry. It has facial recognition. So let's say if Jacob's at the front door or something, it will announce like, "Hey, Jacob is at the front door." So it actually works very seamlessly with our products or our partners' product. And last but not least, we also have security camera, outdoor, indoor. It can tell the difference between like a person and a thing, so it's actually quite smart. And Nest Protect, which is our CO smoke alarm, you can hush a false alarm from your phone, and in case you're not home, then it sends an alert to your phone. So that's kind of like the whole range of products that you can find in the home.
So we see on these couple slides just 10 products that are just Google and Nest specific, but throughout the home, there are hundreds of products from different companies. Now, what sort of challenges do you face in being able to make sure that a Google system is able to understand all these competing technologies from different manufacturers?
Yeah, I mean, because there's a lot of demo and routine that needs to be set up, I'm sure Jacob will attest to this. I'm sure there's bunch of testing that has to go into this when there's a live demo. The key thing to this is the assistant integration, meaning we have to make sure that our partners' products are compatible with Google Assistant. So it requires some type of integration. We do have an APIs, like smart home APIs, that our partner has to come and develop and make sure that they can be controlled by Google Assistant. So you can say things like, "Okay, Google, I'm home," and then everything works, right? Because from Google, we are not planning in any way to have the first-party product in 250 devices in the Project Home. So obviously, we want to create that ecosystem so that our products work beautifully with the third-party products and create the really integrated whole home experience, not just a bunch of device sitting in there and it's not thoughtful.
Now, this Project Home is already a trendsetter. What does the success of what we're seeing so far mean for the connected home of the future?
I think one of the things that when Jacob and I first discussed is the tagline is where tomorrow lives, right? So from Google perspective, we have a vision of to bring a thoughtful home, so not just a smart home, right? So a thoughtful home means we have to anticipate the needs for the people inside the home. We want to be helpful, we want to be thoughtful, not just it follows your command, but it can think for you when it makes sense. Now, I can't say that we're completely there yet. We're quickly moving there. So one of the dilemmas that we were facing is should we really use all the things that are feasible right now and live so we can not create a false impression or demo, or we try to kind of project more a vision of where this thing is going and how we think about it. And we ended up with the first, which we just wanted to put everything that's already live, everything that is feasible right now for users. But then I think with the project, come back to the question, I think it really demonstrates how we see the future of how everything works together. Because like I said, for us, it's not just okay, here's our 10 products that we have in the project, but it's more about how they work together in the Google Assistant ecosystem for the whole integrated home. So I think that's a good showcase. It's actually the first time that Google is doing something like this.
Yeah, I think we, at KB Home, we saw the progression from connected home to a smart home to a smarter home. And in this project, we're taking a glimpse at the thinking home. Let me give an example that combines both Tony's product and Nett's product. These indoor air quality sensors that are in the wall, they will test for the air every couple of minutes, the air quality every 2 minutes. And when there is an issue, it's going to test again, and when it kind of knows about, is sure about it, is going to inform the Darwin brain in the house, the hub, and then from there, that system will talk with carrier and will push air to that specific zone to remediate the air. So now we're seeing a home that I don't have to talk to it. Voice first is not anymore. It's a thinking home that is actively working on your behalf to give you better health without you having to do anything about it. So I think these are the early glimpses at a home that is a thinking home working on our behalf that way, under the umbrella of Google with the other systems collaborating with it.
It's an important point because when so much new technology comes into the market, one of the big obstacles to overcome is, are we asking the consumer to change behavior in order to get the benefits? At Delos, we really spend a lot of time thinking about the user experience, and we're doing a lot in the home to bring forward healthy outcomes, but we want to do it in a way that does not force the consumer to change the way they lived in their house without Darwin in the system, in the home. So they can live passively, not do a thing, not look at a dashboard, and the house is going to be as optimally environmentally healthy for them as is possible. If they want to geek out on the data, as you saw in the video, there's a lot of data on the dashboards for people to consume and to understand exactly what's happening at different time of day. But that's a really important point that I think is important for you to think about.
Well, next I'd actually like to jump down to the end, talk to Rich a bit with Schneider. Sorry to jump over you, Jason, but we'll get back to you. Some really cool kitchen appliance technology from Whirlpool that we'll show you here coming up in a few minutes. But I want to talk about Schneider Electric's role in this project, Wiser Energy, and how this helps bring this home together as well.
Yes, so again, Wiser Energy is really innovation on the edge. And when you think about a typical home, there's a quarter to a third of a mile of wire. And really, it's almost an information highway. And what we've done with Wiser Energy is actually put a system in place that monitors power throughout your home. So if you've got a 10-room house, 9 or 10-room house, it will actually watch the current flow. It not only just watches the current flow to each circuit, but it even goes beyond. It will pick up, what's plugged into an outlet. It will tell you whether you've got a coffee maker, a Samsung TV. So the technology is really cool. And again, what it allows you to do is, see how power is being consumed in your home. It'll tell you usage. If you live in an area where energy is expensive, and take the state of California with the upcoming change to Title 24, where there's going to be time of use rates, energy, and knowing how energy is being consumed to your home becomes very important because, again, it's a cost savings to you. At the same time, you also get notifications of what's going on in your home. So in the case of you leave a house and you happen to leave an oven on, you can get an alert that your oven is still on, or your kids come home from school 3:30 in the afternoon. You can get an alert that, hey, the garage door opener has gone open, and probably more importantly, they've shut the garage door. So again, a lot of neat things in the area of taking the electrical system and turning it into really an information, highway of what's going on into your home. Here's some different views you can take specific appliances. You'll see of the total power consumption, how much a refrigerator is using. You can control your energy usage. When the time of use comes into play, obviously 2 o'clock in the afternoon when all the air conditioning is running in Southern California on a 80-degree day, utilities are going to potentially penalize you for running your electrical dryer and using more power. So again, this really gives the homeowner control, the ability to manage loads. It gives them awareness of what's happening in his home, all remotely, can do it from their handheld. And so again, it's really, when you look at the future home, taking what used to be a product that sat in the garage or in a basement, and now is really kind of in the forefront of helping you understand and connecting your life to how you live your life and how you manage appliances, how you manage energy, and can benefit.
Now we see all these benefits and features that you actually do get to see, but a lot of this technology that goes into it happens behind the walls as well. What does it take to actually make this system possible when you're building this house?
That's the beauty of it. It's very simple. If you go back to my first slide, you'll see a photo of a typical electrical panel with the breakers installed. And all we do is add 2 CTs. They go over the main incoming lines of power, and they literally have full vantage view of everything that's going on downstream through the entire home. So it will be able to identify, all your appliances, your major appliances, and like I said, it will go all the way down to a coffee maker. The aged population. You've got personally, I have an 83-year-old mother-in-law, and I put the system in her home, and I can tell at 6:30 in the morning when she's gotten up and the Keurig coffee maker is being made. So again, it's just phenomenal of what you can do, with technology. And this is machine learning, so it's not anything that the consumer has to do. What it does, it monitors the loads. And as you turn things on and off in your home, or you power things up and down, it will see the difference and the variances and the timing. And it will send you an alert that said, we believe you've had a TV turned on, okay? You confirm the load, and now it will report back. Or a lighting load in the dining room has turned on. So again, the beauty of it is, from an installation standpoint, not a very labor-intensive product to put in, and then it does the learning for the consumer.
Tony, can I ask a question? First, let me add to what you said, another dimension about things that are behind the walls. An important asset from Schneider that was behind the walls in this house is a whole house surge protection, which is an important part when you have 250 IoT devices in the house and so on. That we always felt protected with that, so thank you. I just want to ask the question, as we peer into the future, what do you see as the potential for a system like this on the smartphone of the occupants, homeowners? What will it do to communicate with an EV vehicle in the future, and how can you regulate that?
So again, EV solar systems, okay? Solar system helps you reduce your energy. It generates power, okay? As a homeowner, you've invested. With Wiser Energy, you can see how much power that solar system is generating, okay? It will also tell you that if there's challenges or there's problems going on with the solar, you'll see the output drop, so we can help in the solar. EV, on the other hand, is going to be a power consumer, okay? And again, that's where you want to be charging your vehicle at off-peak periods. You won't want to be charging when you're paying 50 cents a kilowatt hour. You'll want to charge at an off-peak time. So again, with the Wiser system, it will tell you the best time to charge, and it will also tell you how much power is being consumed to charge your EV. And again, that's another one of those. I spent my $80,000 for the Tesla, and I love the Tesla. It's great. At the same time, I want to see how I'm saving, and this will help you understand that.
Well, I'd love to move on now to the kitchen and Jason and Whirlpool. We have a video that showcases how these different appliances within the kitchen can help work together to really make the kitchen, taking it to the next level.
This beautiful, smart and healthy kitchen has a suite of appliances from Whirlpool, including Whirlpool's JennAir coffee and cappuccino machine, which you fill the water in this reservoir. It takes 8 cups of water, and I think that would be enough for half of my coffee intake per day. But it also has nice connected appliances. So for example, if I'm going to cook something that is frozen, I can just simply scan the barcode with my Whirlpool app. The app has a large database of frozen products. It knows their cooking instructions. Now it is on my app, and I can say send it to the microwave or send it to the oven, and the oven will start and it will cook it perfectly according to the producer's instructions. Of course, if you're doing conventional cooking, we have a beautiful, very efficient induction cooktop to cook on in this house.
So like I said, really taking the kitchen here to the next level. So Jason, what is the current consumer experience in the kitchen? What is the one that they want? And how does Whirlpool and appliances like this help them get to that point?
Yeah, so if you think about the kitchen, I mean, it's the heart of the home. I mean, it's what people, passions, food, family, friends kind of come together and solve those everyday questions around, you know, what do you eat? You think about the journey today that consumers go through, it's littered with friction, questions, like what's for dinner? How do I make it? How do I actually cook the food and not be tethered to sitting in the kitchen, ensuring that it's done properly? How do I know what I have on hand, what's in the fridge, what do I have in the pantry, what can I do with it? How do you avoid that guilty feeling of throwing food out? I mean, these are just everyday experiences that a lot of consumers have. I think we can all relate to them. It's an area today that we think is going to be very different going forward. And as we think about that journey that a consumer goes through today, we believe that with our brands, those everyday acts of care, whether it's with cooking or cleaning, are going to be easier, faster, and better with our brands. And technology like connectivity, smart, voice, digital, and ecosystems are going to help power that. And as we think about the vision for the smart kitchen, we believe it starts with better answering that question, what's for dinner? Continuing that with a step-by-step experience where you've got almost like a sous vide support in the kitchen to guide you from idea to completion. It includes appliances that are smart, where you could deliver cooking automation, think press play and walk away. It includes a frictionless replenishment of groceries, so you don't always have to go to the grocery store. You're eliminating that friction to purchase something, automated, or reducing the friction there. And related to what do I have on hand, there's tools to help you do that. In those benefit territories today, there's a lot of single point solutions that offer some of these different experiences, but no one's really thread together a seamless end-to-end experience across all 5 areas. And that's exactly what Whirlpool and a company we acquired 2 years ago called Yummly are kind of bringing to life. And so the combination of Whirlpool being the leader in the kitchen, #1 in the kitchen from an appliance brand perspective, combined with Yummly, which is one of the top destinations where consumers are going to answer that question, what's for dinner, are allowing us to deliver on this vision. And this isn't a TED Talk. These are things that are happening right now. And so in market today, Yummly is a destination where consumers are going to answer that question, what's for dinner? At the date of acquisition, we had roughly 20 million users. We've grown over 70%, roughly 34 million users as of today. Not only does it have 2 million recipes that does an incredible job of curating what's the best one for you, but it now offers that guided meal prep. It's my first time in this building. Didn't have an issue over here. Walked over here with Google Maps. It told me turn by turn, step by step, what to do and when. And that's an example of like guided meal prep applied to food. It's telling me what to do exactly when, showing me with the video, offering step-by-step guidance. That's in market right now. With connected smart appliances, we're offering features, whether it's a frozen food, a recipe, or you know what you want to eat, you just want some help in cooking it faster. We have over 30 smart connected products across Whirlpool and now KitchenAid that help with that feature. The use case that you saw, which was that scan to cook that Jacob showed in that video, we'll kind of use a frozen pizza as an example. Today, if you were to cook a frozen pizza, you would grab it out of the oven, start the preheat process, After about 9 minutes or so, you would load that frozen pizza into the oven, and then you would let it bake for roughly 400 degrees for about 17 minutes. And unless burnt pizza is not one of your favorite things, you're going to rush back into the kitchen and get that pizza out and then obviously enjoy it. With the feature that we launched with Scan to Cook, you could use the app, take a picture of that barcode, it'll beam those instructions into the oven. You could immediately put the frozen pizza into the oven. We'll let you know when it's done, and we'll deliver that frozen pizza 30% faster. So it's not just about taking the back of the instruction and following what the manufacturer recommended. The combination of what they recommended, culinary science, connectivity, allows us to do things that are a little bit more complicated if a consumer had to do it on their own with a multi-step advanced cooking algorithm. We can automate that. We could deliver that pizza 30% faster. And if you happen to be watching Netflix sitting on the couch or out in the backyard playing with your kids, you get a notification saying the pizza's done, and you don't want to rush back in. With one click, you can press a button called Keep Warm, and the oven will kind of downshift a couple hundred degrees and allow you to take a little bit of your own time, come back in roughly 8 to 10 minutes and enjoy that pizza. So that's an example of like purposeful innovation, things that are helping kind of practical everyday needs that a consumer has, and we're in market with features like that right now.
So you obviously have these innovations now and plans for moving forward. How are builders positioned to really help advance this idea of the smart kitchen?
Yeah, so there's a lot of talk about the smart home, and I think there's some incredible opportunities with the lights, the locks, the thermostats. Those are where the entry into the smart home has typically begun. But we think how we move to that next frontier of adoption is with more meaning, with more consumer purpose. And we feel like the kitchen and just that whole heart of the home is a really ripe opportunity. And we think there's an incredible story that we have in market today collectively across what you heard from everyone. And it's not as if a consumer is going to figure this out on their own. Right. They're not going to walk into a Lowe's or a Home Depot with 3 shopping carts and figure out how to navigate through that store, buy the different lighting, shades, electrical management, Google products, Nest products, Whirlpool products, and figure out all the interoperability, figure out what meets their degree of safety, data privacy. The home builder is in a unique position to help curate a package of leading brands, leading products, ones that work effectively, have the security measures that consumers are looking for, and frankly offer that as a service to the consumer, because they're out looking for this, but they're struggling with what that solution is. And so I think the home builders are uniquely positioned to help on that front.
Jason, I love what you said. Few words, purposeful, use case. These words are very meaningful. And the word curate is also very good. If I've been here a few times, and if you have been, like me, you've been here a few times, you probably heard me talk about how the primary job of a builder in relation to smart digital devices and so on is to be the right curator for all these items. You got to create an ecosystem that works together and that is best in breed and also matches the price points that you are dealing with in terms of the customer band that we're working in. So curator is a very important word, and I appreciate you saying it. The use case words that you mentioned are also very meaningful, and I want to take a minute, if it's okay, and kind of go back to that video. We're not going to go back to it, but I want to refer you back to the video where I showed the water reservoir. Okay, that low tech, or I don't want to call it low tech, but I shouldn't have maybe shown it. Except that there is more to that story. Usually, what we do is take that out and talk about the use case of the Kohler kitchen faucet. It's a beautiful faucet, and yes, you can wave over it, under it, to start it and stop it. But do we need to always say, excuse me, Nett, for saying this, do we always need to say, hey, Google, turn on the faucet, hey, Google, turn off the faucet? If I can wave over it, I can do it probably faster than talking. And I think it might be something that people will take as a novelty, but over time it might wear off. Okay, buying a faucet just so that I can talk to it. However, Kohler, I think, the mindful, the use case, they've executed correctly on it. The reason for it to be Google compatible and Amazon compatible is not so you can turn it on and off by saying that, but is for dispensing the right amount of water for a recipe. Or if I'm doing 2 cups of water, 2 cups of coffee in that reservoir that I took out, for it to put in exactly 2 cups in there. So that's why you talk to it to give it an exact amount that you want to put in. And I think that if we all, I mentioned earlier, everything going digital, if we do it digital but mindful of the use case, I think the home buyers in the future, the lives of our customers, collective customers, will be much, much better.
Well, we have many other topics we could talk about here, but we are running out of time. Would like to give you the opportunity to ask a couple questions in these last few minutes. So is there anybody out there that would like to ask our panel any questions about anything they've heard or anything they'd like to know any more about from today's discussion?
I'll kick it off while somebody's getting brave. So curating is one thing, Jacob, but quarterbacking the actual installation and integration of this wide landscape of products is another thing. Yeah. Do you envision the builder doing that work, or would you like to see some sort of quarterback of all of the trades emerge that can really coordinate this higher level of functionality?
Yeah, I think the builder cannot take on that quarterbacking without a strong partner. And in the case of the partnership with Google, where we brought in certain Google items into the home, Wi-Fi and speakers with Google Assistant and the Hello doorbell that match with our thermostat and other things, we did not want to say to the customer, good luck, here's everything, congratulations on the home, good luck integrating all that together. So we did purposely contract with a white glove service that goes into the home afterwards to do all that integration for them. So the homeowner doesn't have to waste a whole weekend trying to do updates, over-the-air updates on the thermostat that is now connecting for the first time, and et cetera, et cetera. Everything is getting done for them through that white glove service that comes in for 2 hours, even trains them on some commands and leave them very happy.
I think I saw a question over here.
Yeah, this question is for Nett. Nett, on your Google Hub, there's no way to add apps currently. So like we have builders that want to put that in the home, but they also want to add some other apps to be able to control. Is there a way to do that, or is that coming?
Yeah, so in all of our smart speakers or smart display products, there's no apps to be installed or download or anything like that. Nothing is actually installed in the devices. So the way to make it compatible with the Google Assistant is to develop the integration. So we do have the APIs that's available, so that once you develop the work for like the APIs, then it's compatible with Google Assistant, whether it's on your mobile phone or on your on the devices.
I think we maybe have time for 2 more. I see one in the back and then one here in the middle.
So can you speak a little more on the security and the privacy and not selling our data? Specifically related to, there was a particular platform that had a camera that wasn't turned off and data was being recorded. What are you guys doing to assure that our buyers have those concerns when they're looking at this product?
Let me start the answer, and maybe Nett would add to it, or others. But again, this is part of that curator role. How much do we pay attention to that? It's a lot. And we need to probably do more in terms of privacy. I'm personally an advocate for information the owner of the information is the homeowner. And it needs to be there. And maybe local storage is better than cloud storage, but who knows what's more secure these days. But I can tell you this, that information, the customer can delete it if they want to, or they can keep it for creating patterns. Remember, Tony, in terms of the Delos system, talked about how the system could learn and perhaps start thinking. We talked about the thinking home. You can't get a thinking home if you don't have patterns of data in front of it. So that's one perspective. In regards to the Google product, I think they are very thoughtful. For example, the Nest Indoor IQ Cam, it has function for geofencing. When you are close to home or arrive home, it turns off.
I think we have one more question, and then we'll start to wrap up here.
Yeah, my question is mainly for Jacob, but if anybody else has any input on it. Are you seeing any difficulties, any pain with warranty, not just with software and programming, which I'd assume your white glove service company would be able to handle, but with actual devices failing from normal use, anything down the line?
Not that, nothing significant. I think it's been, whether when you have great partners that back you up, I think it's good. We haven't had any major issues.
Tony, one more.
One more.
Quick question, for what is the complexities or the scalability of these wonderful systems into the remodel market? Is there something that we can be taking from this that it can't be applied, generally speaking, in some way, shape, or form?
So from Delos' perspective, our today channel partners are essentially everyone in this room, builders and system integrators. So we're able to incorporate into either new construction or renovation. So if there's some work being done in the home, Delos platform is a really easy integration. Our roadmap for the back end of the year is all about retrofit. So how do we enable mass market to adopt the product in a low cost, low friction way so that improved health and well-being is attainable across all socioeconomic classes, from retrofit, low cost solutions up through high-end luxury residences.
Yeah, and just a point on the Wiser system, it's 100% retrofittable, so you can put it into existing homes. And the beauty there is that you don't have to have smart appliances, because those circuits I talked about, it would literally make those smart in a retrofit application.
Rich, does it need to be a line voltage installer or an electrical contractor on the retrofit?
Again, it's typically 240 volts, because you will have to take the cover off a 240 volt panel. So, we recommend an electrician. But again, very simple for the electrician to do.
Well, unfortunately, I think we're going to have to wrap up here. Time flies when you're having fun. Thank you to our panel for all of their insights and taking the time to share with us today. Wish we really could have dug in even deeper than what we did, but hopefully that gave you a good idea of this healthy home of the future concept and what's to come and how you can capitalize on that within your own businesses. And hopefully these folks will be able to stick around a bit for our Connections reception coming up next, and you can even talk to them a bit more and meet them and have your questions answered.